How you doing out there, folks? Yes, it's me again. This is The Invisible Man versus Merrick, Bank, and the Robot, Part 21. Yeah, they're all a little bit different. Now, since I've been adding the songs, in the beginning, makes them a little bit different in the start, So this way if you don't want to listen to about the harassing calls again, you don't have to. That way you could hear the song and that's it, Because you know how long these videos are. They vary, And there's also the description too. So you could actually be looking at the description while you're listening to me talking too. I don't want to make this, something difficult, That's why I marked how many, I put part 21. So there's at least 20 more of these. The chances are you might have already viewed one. They're not identical. I'm proving that by putting the song in the beginning. Okay, so the title of this song is There's a Heaven in the Sky Above. I wrote it over 40 years ago when I met Marie. And I'll see how the lyrics, She inspired a lot of lyrics, Marie, because I used to tell her, Marie, I can write a song about anything. She says, what do you mean? I said, well, give me a title or something and I could do it. It might take me time, but I'm pretty sure I could do it. Okay, we was having dinner at a restaurant. And we were discussing a lot of things, like we always do. We were in no hurry or nothing. And I always bring a pen with me, and sometimes paper, or use a napkin or something to write on. So she was asking me, Frankie, do you believe that there's a heaven in the sky above? I said, yeah, we're Catholic. We grew up with that, And she says, yeah, but how do you know? I said, no, because the Bible tells us. So she said, do you think, you could write a song about it? I said, yeah, pretty much. So the title, the title would be There's a Heaven in the Sky Above. I agreed with her. It was a good title, and I was writing some things down a little bit, And so let me write something down here. Not much, just this. I like to always get, some words down, on it to start it, It makes it easier. So I wrote down, in these days of fast-paced living, there doesn't seem much time for giving, but if you do care, you will want to share in the heaven in the sky above. I said, oh, that sounds all right. I said, when music is put to it, it'd be a good gospel song. She agreed with me, so I said, okay, I'll just start it now and I'll work on it. It took me a little while. When I went home, about a week or so, I had it all done, and then I sent it out, the lyrics, to George Liberace in California, and they did the music. And that's what you're going to hear now, okay? I'm going to try to do this now. Let's get ready. I'm going to have to start up here. I'm going to do this. Start this up.
On this earth, you live and love, and sometimes even need a shove. But if you learn to swallow your pride, you'll be able to live with your neighbor by the side. Because there's a heaven in the sky above, and there's more to life than just love. No matter how much you work, there's always plenty to learn. As days and nights go by, we never question why. Because we know that there's a heaven in the sky above. People have lives and people have hates, but really matters is your life before you see those pretty gates. Heaven in the sky above, and there's much more to life than just love. They say the earth is round, but it doesn't mean to this earth you're bound. Every time that you look to heaven up above, there is love. In these days of fast-paced living, doesn't seem much time. But if you care, you will want to share sky above. Springtime brings the flowers, birds sing their song. Then you know that you belong to the heaven in the sky above. And there's much more to life than just love. On this earth you live and love, sometimes you even need a shove. But if you learn to swallow your pride, you'll be able to live with your neighbor by my side. Because there's a heaven in the sky above. And there's more to life than just
Well, that's it. Able to stop that. I have everything set up here. I hope you liked it. Now that song, it has meaning. I mentioned the pearly gates, and we're not, they say the earth is round, but it doesn't mean to this earth you're bound. So I think it's a good gospel song, spiritual. They did it. George Liberace is sort of like a disco in a way, but that song could be done in any kind of music. I've taken those lyrics, and I've done different versions of it. I like this version myself because it's pretty lively, This whole thing with these harassing phone calls that I've been doing this video, I just realized it's about Marie, a relationship and all, towards the end here. It's also about how I found a great attorney. That's also part of this video. And I guess that's, and Merrick Bank, of course. They're a part of it. I'm not, in a sense, I'm probably helping them, that they shouldn't be doing these harassing phone calls. They should try to find a different way to do it, So back to this, when Marie passed away last year, that's the connection with this Merrick Bank, because I couldn't pay the bills anything that we had. But, I had a vision, right after she passed away, because I know how religious she was, and she prayed. She never bothered anybody or nothing, And she always believed in God and everything, So I had this vision, it wasn't a dream, it was just something that came to me. And I saw her, like she was in a spiritual body, but she could tell she had no pain. It's when we first met, the way she looked, that way, very nice, in front of the pearly gates. And it's like a meadow out there. I saw with a lot of flowers and all. And there's a bridge. They call it Rainbow Bridge. And all the animals are there. And she was greeted at the pearly gates with one of some of the pets we had through the years. We had a lot of cats. And they let her into the pearly gates. And I saw her there, standing in front of God. The light, And he says to her, "Welcome. Thanks for worship me and everything, and pray to me like you did, and try to do good things." So and there was a piano right to the right there. He said, "This is waiting for you, Marie." And she went over there. She looked at it. It's like all gold, real bright and all, lights and all. And she started playing. She said, and she kept playing. The music was so beautiful, And the birds was out there. It's beautiful. Light. Only the vision just went away after that, But in life, Marie was pretty talented, Well, she could speak Spanish. And she could play the piano by ear, And she could sing and she could sew. She was really good, But she was humble, She never really bragged about herself or nothing. That's the way she was, So that's kind of like a memory here, for me. That was some vision. And now I put this song about the heaven and the sky above, that she inspired it, So I think now let's get back to these harassing phone calls. It all started, in 2018. Not the calls, but this Merrick Bank, the relationship, I'll use that with Merrick Bank. I had a card with him, I think it was like over 10 years ago. It was a different kind of account. Another one of their offers, So the mail came. Marie doesn't usually get too much mail, because I get the bills. Any bills come, it's in her name or mine. I take care of that. Because we combined our money for and then I paid the bills. That's been going on since when we first started together, so it's still the same right now. Okay, so I said, here, Marie, it's a letter for you. Then she opened it up, and she kept looking at it, because our interest, even mine, wasn't too much at this time, you know. It just wasn't, you know, the way things were. It was getting monotonous, our life and all. I was thinking of doing some other things there, you know, trying to get her out and all more, but we were going to the doctors every month, both of us, and, you know, getting our medicines and checkup and all that. Okay, so she opened the letter, looked at it and all, and she says, Frankie. I said, what is it, Marie? She said, Merrick Bank. I never heard of them, but they want to give me $600. I think I want it. What do I have to do? It says something about a double the credit line. What do I have to do? Pay or something? I said, no, let me look at it. I never really heard of that offer, you know. Not too much. So I looked it over. I said, well, Marie, if you make 7 on-time payments, then you will get another $600. She said, what? Is that for real? I said, yeah, Marie, it is. They can't do that. They have to own up to these offers. That they have to do. They might be, you know, doing unethical tactics, but when it comes to these offers, they have to do them. You know, they print all that out, and they must be sending that offer to thousands of people. I know that. And it's based on some people are credit worthy more than others. People who might want to start their credit, you know, try to build credit, they could use it. So she said, well, what do we have to do? I said, you could do it by phone, or you can do it, you know, over the computer. She said, well, I don't want to do it by phone because I might say something wrong, you know. Okay, so let's see. She said, well, where's the computer? I said, it's over there. You know where I have it, on the table. Went over there and sat down. I said, look, I'm gonna punch it all in, get it started, you know. And she says, do you want to type it all in? She said, yeah, I can type, but I don't know how to set it up. I said, don't worry about it. I'll set it up, and you type it. You know, that way with 2 people doing something like that, it comes out a lot better. Because I know I used to make a lot of mistakes. And what happens when you make mistakes, you know what happens. It won't go through. You know, it'll come back and be in red, you know, where you have to correct it. So, okay, we started out. I said, Maria, I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to tell you. There's a cursor there. She saw it. She said, oh, yeah, I see that. Now put your name in, first name, and then I'll tell you when to put it in, what to put in. Last name, the address, you know, and I'll just wait till she types it. She was very careful. Take your time, and then we did all the information like that. We got down to the authorized user. I said, there, you can put that in. She said, oh, I know you. You're the authorized user because, you know, you put me on your accounts and I put you on mine. I said, yeah, we shared that. I said, yeah, that's true. That's right. That's no problem. I think she filled in all the phone numbers, the 2 phone numbers and all. She knew them. I mean, so far I couldn't see that there was any mistakes, you know. And there's some, you know, they have fine print even on the computer. But I enlarged it, you know. And I said, let me read all this and I'll explain it to you. It says here that you have to give Merrick Bank permission to call you on them numbers that you gave them up there. But using an auto dialer and maybe text message you and, you know, by recordings and all that stuff, you know. I said, do you agree? She said, well, I don't really care if they call me. I said, if you don't care, well, then we'll do it. But she said, what happens if I don't want to check it? I said, if you don't check it, I don't think it's going to go through. If you hit submit, it probably just won't go through. Or they won't approve it. I said, you mean they can do that? I said, yeah, they can do it. They just want permission to call you so they can extend the credit to you. It's part of the stipulation, because I know that didn't seem right. Because they're asking for permission, but they're not maybe the company that's making the calls either. Plus, if they're combining that, you know, asking permission, they're combining it with that offer. I don't think they're supposed to do that. I'm not sure, you know. That's why you need an attorney. He knows. Because that was in her name and all. And they're asking that permission. Now, if they have a company that's making those calls, you know, with the auto dollar and all, that company I think is supposed to send you maybe a letter from them stating that we're going to we're the company that makes the calls from Merrick Bank and we need you to authorize it, something like that. But they didn't do that. So I was I didn't really worry about it. And she didn't care. She wanted the account, you know. So I don't blame her. It was in her name and her credit. I've been paying her bills for over 8 years on time, you know, but hers was a little bit better than mine. Because I used to get, you know, the credit score on one of those accounts we had every month. So I knew it was. Okay, so we did all that, and I said, let me check. She hit submit. Let me check the email. Because whatever I send it out on, that's the email. They're going to have the email now. So they answered back, and it says, you've been approved for double the credit line, and you should receive your cards within 7 to 10 business days. Of course, the cards both went in. The authorized user went in, of course. Oh, Frankie, I can't wait. I said, well, you're going to have to be patient, because that's, by doing it by the computer is quicker than by mail anyway. By phone would be about the same. Okay, so I went over some things with her. I have to tell her, you know, because she's so excited. They ask her her social security number, date of birth. She's going to give it. I told her, you don't have to give that information over the phone. You don't need to. If they start that, just say, look, I'm not going to want to order nothing then. They try to pressure you for anything you don't want. I know you want what you want, but I know you could get talked into something and not realize it, you know. Don't be making any monthly payments. Just do it one payment at a time. You know, you order something, that's it. One-time payment. So I went over this. The next few days I went over it again, and no time is passing, you know. And I was asking her. She remembered everything. Of course, she's going to remember everything. You know, even though she's suffering from the GAD, general anxiety disorder. But this kind of like was helping that, you know. It wasn't making it. We made it better for her. So the day comes. It was about a week. I got the mail. I said, I could tell by in the mailer, you could feel the 2 cards. And I said, here, Marie, this is for you. She says, oh, Frankie, I know what it is. I said, I know you do. You've been waiting for this. She opened it up, and she said, now what? Here's your card, and here's mine. I said, oh, you got a nice design. She said, I know she checked that. Yeah, it doesn't look the same. Like when you actually see it in person, it looks better, you know. It's an eagle, beautiful, with the flag in the background. So we each had the same design. So I like it, Marie. Very good. Okay, I have to activate it. It says by phone. You want to do it? She said, no, I don't want to do that. There's nobody again. It's not a live person. You know, it's automated again. You call up and it said, this is the activation line or something. And they tell you to punch in the last 4 digits of the primary card social security number. I knew that. And they said, your cards, based on the phone number you called on, your cards are activated. And that was it. I didn't worry. Once I did that, I knew everything was all right. So she wants to order right away. I said, look, remember what I told you. Oh, I know what you told me. Don't give my personal information. Don't be buying anything because they try to force me. And I said, okay, I think you understand it. So she had everything. She had some things written down that she wanted to order. But she got it off of TV. She looks at the Spanish shows every day, and this thing they advertise. She liked that, the Spanish stories. Yeah, it was like that. You know how they had Judge Judy? They have that in the Spanish. Similar, you know. Okay, I said, okay, I know you want to order. Go ahead. And I heard her order it. It sounded all right. I heard her give the number, but she did it in Spanish. I still could understand some of it. I know she didn't give no personal information. I could tell. You know, I know that. So it's in. She couldn't wait. Whatever she ordered came. And I remember the first thing she ordered was for a pain that she had in her arm, you know. I said, it looks pretty good. Run by batteries. And you have electric too. I'm pretty sure it was both. It's got the same kind of cord. It's like a computer. You put the strap around your arm, and it's electronic, and you can set it, you know, for the strength and the pain. You keep it on for a while. And I noticed, I asked her, she said, yeah, you know what? It is blocking the pain. It does feel a lot better. I said, well, then you got something good then. And she ordered a lot of other things, some cosmetics, different things that she liked, you know. There was no problem. It wasn't too much. She ordered that, and I was paying some of our store accounts, some catalog accounts. I was paying it with the same card, you know, with the same account. Because I noticed in the beginning, it's $600, but it really wasn't. I noticed when I got the first statement, They charge a membership fee for the whole year, and they also charge, well, the authorized user card, so it was like $100. I'm saying already is $100 less. See, that's what I say about the add-on fees. This particular account, there was a membership fee, there was, well, the authorized user fee, and, well, there'll be late fee, no balance transfer. So that's what I would have liked, because we had a few cards that I could transfer. I still did it anyway. You know, when I was paying those cards using that card. So they didn't have all that stuff. There's no frills, like I said, no frills. So they have all these different offers. But this was a unsecured. It's not on our money. It's they're giving that credit. So the 7 months passed, and there it goes. It went right in. Now they're pretty good with that. You know, they really want to, you know, just keep up, make you get. They want you to owe them more. Because it's not a bad offer, but again, like anything else, you got to keep paying it. I didn't think I'd have any problems, you know, because I can use it to transfer some other accounts. I wouldn't have to pay them, and I would still be paying Merrick Bank about the same amount every month. So that went on for a while. Marie's interest started to go down a little bit. You know, I know that was not going to last forever like that, because she was making those orders, and she was really doing good. We kept going to the doctors, and she started to get, you know, noticed a little bit weaker, a little bit sicker, you know, coughing and all. So the doctor gave her an inhaler, and he also, you know, gave her antibiotics. It seemed to help a little bit, so this went on for, you know, a few months, and she started to get worse instead of better. So I said to her, you know, I said, Frankie, I better go to the hospital because I don't feel that good. I said, don't hesitate. Right away I got her in there. All the tests, it took a while, you know, brain scans and everything, you know. And they diagnosed her with dementia, Alzheimer's, anemia, low blood pressure, all kind of things, you know. And respiratory distress, I think, was the worst thing. Doctors told me, right, she has to go to a nursing home. It's going to be tough for you to handle her, you know, by yourself. Even with AIDS, it'd have to be every day and all. And, you know, right in the beginning, coming from here, we want to make sure that she gets that care, you know. So I found one that was nearby, about a mile from the house. You know, I could walk it up and back, you know. So I said, okay. It was in there in the beginning. She started to get used to it right away. And I used to keep encouraging her and saying, look, Marie, I can come and see you as much as I can. You can see me. Look at all the care and attention. She liked that, you know, but she wanted, you know, back in the, you know, home again with me like it was. Believe it or not, you know, a few times, she said, Frankie, you're still paying Merrick Bank, right? Oh, yeah. Don't want to ruin my credits. Even with the condition she was in, that Merrick Bank account really had an impression on her. That's why I say that. That's why I'm so much for this, what happened with this Merrick Bank. That's the reason I feel the way I do, because it was our last time together with that. That was part of our life here, you know, for a while, you know, with that card and all. You saw what I told you, the scenario, you know. So Merrick Bank didn't know all that. They don't know that. They send it out to everybody. So that doesn't, you know, they just care about the people who respond and keep paying, you know. So it has something to do with this whole thing about Merrick Bank with Marie. So I'm going to try to, you know, I try to speed this up, but it's so much, you know, to go over. I've been doing it on all these videos. Okay, so she started to do pretty good for the first 4 months. I think she could almost come home. So I waited a little more, and then I noticed. The 5th month, she started to get a little bit at a time. You know, I'm seeing her, a couple times a week. So I noticed it was just a little bit more coughing. That congestion, I could hear it, and I didn't like it in her lungs. I told these people, but these people tell you, oh, no, the doctor comes here, and she's checked out. We had a nurse here and everything. So I said, okay, I don't want to upset these people. They'll have to take it out on her. Okay, so time passed, and I said, let me go towards the end of that 5th month. So I decided to go Thursday, Saturday, and Monday 3 times. She seemed about the same. I wanted to see if I noticed anything, you know, still coughing, still congested. She ate all right when the last day I saw her, up and around. We had lunch. I bought something for me to eat. I brought her something extra, and plus her food. She ate everything. We talked, got her back in her room, seemed okay, you know. I said, I'll be back in a few days. And she said, okay, Frankie. And then when I came back, you know, to see her was around lunchtime. She's in the bed, because usually she's out, you know, she's in the bed. And I asked the roommate, and the roommate said she's been like that for a couple of days. They bring the food, they take it back, she doesn't want to eat, she just wants to sleep like that. And she said, okay, let me see if I can, you know, revive her or something, you know. She was like in a stupor. So I tried to get her, and then the food came. So I asked the woman, can you help me get her set up? She said, yeah, I will do it. I got the food there and all. I saw what it was. She was on a puree diet, and then it went to a mesh diet where everything is soft, so I could give her anything there. I just got a little bit of everything. Tried to give her something, some applesauce, whatever was there. You know, she could swallow it. See, the people working there don't want to do that, because if something would ever happen, she would choke or something. They don't want to be held responsible for that. I know, that's part of it. Oh, I could do it. It's all right if I do it. So she took that down a little bit. She still went through the motions, you know. And some water. I tried to get her to drink water, so I figured, so keep her from, if she's not eating or drinking, you know, nothing for her. Get something in her, and she just wanted to go, you know, like she just couldn't stay up, like, you know, she was just drifting off, you know. So I tried to get her comfortable there and all. I said, well, let me see if I can. Still, I thought I was trying to revive her. I'm trying to get her to wake up. I figured if I could get her to wake up, maybe I could get through to her, and maybe she'll eat some more, you know, and start feeling better. Nope. I start massaging her and all. I massaged her feet. And she said, stop that, Frankie. I said, okay, Maria, I'll leave you be. You know, she wanted to sleep, you know, because when she'd be in the house here, I would do that. When to get her up to go to the doctors or something, I would massage her feet, and she would say, stop it, you know. At least she knew I was there now. She knew for sure. I went home. I wasn't too happy. I wasn't even paying attention to what I'm doing, because it's a pretty long walk, a mile, you know. I almost got hit by a car. I wasn't even paying attention. I just walked out in the street. I didn't even look. I was so upset, you know. Got home. I relaxed and couldn't sleep. I was, you know, restless. Phone rings around 3 o'clock in the morning. I was praying that, I knew it was a nursing home. And I was praying that they would tell me she's getting up. We had to send her to emergency room. I would have felt better. No, the nurse told me she just came on duty. She did a bed check, and Marie was unresponsive, so she went and, you know, they can do CPR there, and they called the 911. They come pretty quick, but they pronounced her dead there. So the nurse told me, and I told her I was there early. She said, no, she don't know, because she just came on. So I had to make all the arrangements and all. You know, I'm still upset over all that this last year, you know. And then I finally got myself together, and I started to work on the bills. Oh, when I saw the bills. Because now I had to contact Social Security, and they, you know, they cut everything. Only thing I had was, you know, the money that I get every month. My Social Security wasn't that much. You know, we combined our money now, I only have half. You know, I didn't even get the survivor's benefit, you know, the $255. No, I didn't get that. Because we weren't legally married, and I didn't have a marriage license. So well, I was so upset. I didn't know what to do about it. So I just let it go, you know. I couldn't work on that now. So then the bills. I start writing letters, and, you know, the cease and desist letters and all that. And it seemed to work at first, and then they start calling anyway, because creditors don't have to abide by that letter. They can call you. So I said, all right. Let me see what I'm going to do. I looked up one of the banks that seemed to be calling the most. I was keeping track of all the calls and all. I know to do that. And then I looked up and I saw, wait a minute. A lawyer popped up. You know how they have pop up the ads? Had his name and all. And I said, well, I was so desperate I didn't know what to do. But I figured I can't pay for a lawyer. That's for sure. But so I said, let me call him and see what he said. And he answers me right away. He called me back. I said, Frank, don't worry. I'm sorry for your loss. And I'll try to help you as much as I can, you know. I don't charge for this service. I said, what? You don't charge? He said, no, I'm a consumer advocate attorney. And you don't have to pay. The banks have to pay me, you know, if we win the case. And you won't have to pay nothing either way. And if we don't win, well, I can stop the calls. And, you know, you don't have to pay me. So I said, well, I appreciate it all. He told me what to do and all. I followed his instructions. That was my free consultation right there, you know. And with email and all, I have all that. So he said, I'm going to send you, the contract between us. He did it real official. He's not. This is not something that just I don't know how you want to call it, but it was real. It was just like a real lawyer. This was not some scheme or scam or nothing like that. Oh no. So he emailed me the contract. I read it. It does say everything he told me. A charge, and he don't take a percentage if he gets money or nothing like that. I signed, initialed where I had to and all. Sent it back, and then he told me that he needs, all the information I have about those banks and all. Because I sent it all in as much as I could. It took me a while. Because I had phone logs and all these calls from all these different banks, and I had to separate it all. So I got him all that information. The calls stopped there. Pretty much all the calls, and that was it for a while. No problem, but I kept paying Merrick Bank. See, this is where the problem came in, I think. Trying to pay them because I had all this other accounts. I figured I have a card that Marie got me, and I can pay, I can use it. And I still with some credit. Because I kept paying, a lot of times I paid more than what the minimum payment was. I might throw $100 in, so I'm going to pay bills with it anyway, so instead of paying those bills, I'll pay them, and then I can use that card to pay the other account. So that's what I was doing. And finally, as time is going on here, and I don't have that much money, I can't, I couldn't pay. I just had to not pay. Try to keep everything here, running for me, that I need. Okay, so now, what do you think happened? The call started. After the first month, I got the bill and I had the late payment on there. I noticed, I said, oh, then the call started. Right away. It was in November. So the call started, and I started keeping track. I had the phone log. They were calling on both numbers, so I had a phone log for each phone number. So I noticed the calls on both lines, and it was on the cell phones. I remember all that about giving them permission and all that. I said, oh, here it goes. Wouldn't have been no problem, of course, if I kept paying. Of course not. That's why I knew they started right away. And that was for Marie. They didn't know she passed away. It's her account. But it does say in the disclosure they send, the cardholder agreement, I've been reading it lately, it doesn't matter who answers the phone. They don't know, and it doesn't matter when they make those calls. So they're telling you that, so you can't say, oh, well, I didn't want one of my family members to know I owe the money or something, but no, that was the call started. I kept track of it, and I waited a couple of weeks. I said, oh, boy, this Merrick Bank. And I called the lawyer, and he said, no problem, Frank. Give me the information again. Start a new contract with him for that, because this Merrick Bank, I found out that he deals with them a lot. So it's not a bank that he can just say, well, I don't think I can do anything. But now he put the litigation in, when I gave him all the calls. That's why it's so important that you have a phone log. I emphasize it. Not just the phone log in itself. It's the date, the time, the day, the number they use, any comments. But you keep any correspondence too. Anything, anybody you talk to, anything like that. You need to have all that. It depends on what laws are violated. See, in my case, they did call on the cell phone. And they did call on the landline. Altogether, it was 19 calls on the cell phone and 43 on the landline. It's over 60 calls in 2 weeks. And they're calling on Sunday and all, But by getting the attorney, he stopped it. And plus, litigation is in. So I figured, well, I felt relieved. I didn't bother too much. I contacted to see how it's going. He said he goes there every 2 weeks. Calls them. It's in California, too, where he is. So maybe that just happened to be where their lawyers are. Maybe that's why he deals with them more. He knows. So it was in. Nothing's happening. I would say about, everything was quiet here. About a month and a half. That's what I've been saying all along. January 2nd, 2020. What do you think? Phone rings. I thought it was one of a doctor or clinical trial that I'm on. Something, Nope. Merrick Bank. Oh, boy. I start writing it down. Started a couple calls, then 4 calls a day. They didn't call on Sunday. But then they didn't call on the cell phone either. I wonder why. That's telling you they're admitting that they shouldn't have been doing it the first time. Both phone numbers are in my name. And I don't think that permission is going to count. It might count, but now you're not giving them permission to annoy you. I'm not giving them permission to annoy me, to harass me. And if that's the case, that permission doesn't mean anything. Because they mentioned in the cardholder agreement that they can call you and that you're not supposed to, you agree that they're not to take, how do they put it? That they're not liable? What do you mean they're not liable? That the call's to annoy you? That they're not liable for that? Well, that's up to the lawyer. That's what I say. Again, I repeat, you need to have a lawyer because you can't deal with these people. He has access to the legal system, and he knows exactly, especially with this bank. I know there's other banks that he dealt with that I had that he deals with them. It's not the first time. He's got an advertisement online. I didn't even know it then. I saw it afterward. He said, if you're getting harassing calls from Merrick Bank, let me know, I can help you. He has a big ad for that. So I know that bank must be one of the ones that do all these unethical tactics, and he wants to make them accountable. Because he's a consumer advocate attorney. I'll give you his name. Paul Mankin. That's M-A-N-K-I-N. It's a toll-free number, free consultation, 800-219-3577. That's 800-219-3577. Give him a call. If he's not there, there'll be an answer machine. Or there's other lawyers. He's got a lot of lawyers there. I've talked to them. They're all very competent, you know. So there'll be somebody there that can help people. I'm sure of that. Because I just contacted him recently. He's out of town on business right now. You know, I'm making this video. I talked to the secretary. She said she's been getting calls. Seem to be more calls. So I guess this video I'm doing is getting out there. I hope so. Because I'm so appreciative of all the help he's given me, you know. For all the cases I had. Well, I don't know what I would be now. What condition I'd be in now. Really helped me. I don't know how I could pay him back, you know. I wish I could pay him. I'm glad that I met him. I'm glad that he took my case. Maybe someday I hope to meet him, you know, in person. Because he's in San Diego, California. I'm in Philadelphia. Boy, if he was around here where I live, I would go to him in person. But again, you know, he's still very good. Again, I'll repeat everything. That's why I do these, you know, endorsements in these videos. And also, you know, my testimonials. I don't want to get paid. I'm not get paid for this. He's already paid me enough. But look at all the services he gave me, you know, and all the help. So I appreciate it a lot. That's why I do it. Now again, I'm going to go everything with you. He's a consumer advocate attorney. That means he's for us, you know. And he wants to help, you know, and he can. If you know, he's not charging you or me or anybody. He doesn't charge. He doesn't take any money in case he gets you a settlement, you know, some money. Now, of course, you're saying, well, how can he do it? How can he be in business? Well, the cases that he wins, he's going to get paid. The bank has to pay the court costs and pay him. We don't. And he's at some accounts I had, the bank marked it paid. That means I didn't owe that then for sure. And I even got some money out of it. You can get money for damages, you know, and for the violations. I got that, and then no more calls, of course. That definitely stops it. Okay, so keep that in mind. You don't have to put up with it. Those calls. From Merrick Bank or any bank. Okay, so and I took care of that for a while, like I said. Again, these calls, I said, started up in January 2020, and I kept track again, like I said, no cell phone. So now this litigation is in. You know, it's been in since November. I think it was about the 18th. So I said a month and a half. But I was reading the cardholder agreement. I read it on camera here in one of these videos. And I dissected it, you know. It says if you get an attorney, it says it in there that within 45 days, if they don't hear from him or they can't contact him, as far as they're concerned, you don't have an attorney. So they're going to take, you know, do whatever they want to do. And I figured it out. They start calling me January 2nd, 2020. I'm saying to myself, I got litigation in, and they're still calling me with a case pending? I thought they were retaliating against me because I'm the one that put that litigation in. You know, I'm the one it's my name. I'm the plaintiff. Okay, so I just start checking here. Remember I said a month and a half? Well, it was the 18th of November. Now 18 and 12, there's, you know, 30 days. That would be 30. You know, there's 30 days, so there's 12 days right there. In December, there's 31, so that's 43. Then starting in January, it would be 44, January 1st. And January 2nd would be 45 days, and they start calling. So they're applying that. Now, I talked to the lawyer, and he told me that he contacts them every 2 weeks. Now, he doesn't contact Merrick Bank, he's contacting the lawyers. That could be the disconnect here. Because maybe when the litigation went in, they stopped the calls because there was litigation. But maybe a different department that handles that, you know, it's probably into the computer with those phone calls, that when 45 days is up after they stop calling, maybe it does it again. That's if you didn't have litigation. So I know that those calls, that's a mistake. I'm sure he knows it. He definitely knows it because I checked with them. The case is still pending. Meaning that they haven't resolved it yet. I like I said, I got really upset when that really ticked me off. It's bad enough, you know, that I lost Marie. You know, I can't put any price on that loss. And then they start calling me again. That's what started this. Because when in November of 2019, I didn't do any videos about it. Nothing. This all started in January. I've been doing this now. While the case is pending, I'm doing all this now. Because those calls really ticked me off doing that. All they had to do was somebody there, you know, one of those customer care who don't care representatives, to give them a list, like when they first put the late fee on, they should call those people before they put it into the robot, you know, to dial those calls. Then if they would have called me, I would have answered it. For that, I would have, if they left a message, especially. If they say, this is so-and-so, give us a call, I want to find out what happened, you know? If I would have told them that Marie passed away and all, I know they would want the death certificate and all that. They know they can't collect it. I'm an authorized user, like I said. I'm not a joint card holder, I'm not a co-signer, and we're not married legally. So, if I told them all that, you think they would be making those calls? No, they know they can't collect it. Anybody there, the supervisor or somebody, would know that. So if they would have done that, in my case and a lot of cases, they could have avoided all those calls. That means there wouldn't have been no calls. That means there wouldn't have been no lawyer, no litigation, nothing. Now that could have all been avoided, and I wouldn't be doing all these videos. I wouldn't even have thought to do these videos. You see how things can happen, you know? So say the system they have, it's no good. They need somebody like me, with experience and all, with credit and all. I could set it up for them, so that they wouldn't be annoying people, they wouldn't be harassing people for these bills. But just a matter of making a phone call, you know, but with a live representative. Now, none of those calls I received. All the calls in November of 2019 and in January 2020. Not one person. They don't even leave a message. They got that set like that. It's like in stone now. That you just keep calling 4 times a day, whatever it is. And just keep doing that. So, you know, have an attorney, and that's why you need an attorney, because to deal with these people, they know if you have an attorney, you know, they know that they have to pay attention to that. I mean, you can contact these banks yourself. I started to. But I had the attorney, so I didn't. I was going to call them. But I didn't do it because of that. Because I figured I might say something wrong or do something wrong, or they might, I don't know, they might have just changed everything, you know? When they hear an attorney right away, they know. But it so happens that Merrick Bank, I guess it's in California, right where the lawyer is that I have. So I guess it's easy for him to deal with them. They're lawyers they have there. Our location there. As I say again, I'll say, you don't have to put up with it. You know, I got so ticked off, you know, because you can contact the Consumer Protection Bureau, the Federal Trade Commission, Better Business Bureau. You can put complaints. You can do it online. And your Attorney General of your state. So, you know, last month when all this is going on, I said, you know, I picked a day here and I went through all the phone logs and all, and I wrote it all up by hand, you know, explained everything, and I sent it to the Attorney General. And they did answer me. It took them about a week or so, I guess, maybe 2 weeks. You know, a nice letter, it's typed to me, you know, telling me that they're investigating that, and they contact Merrick Bank and told them that they have 21 days to respond to it, you know. They sent them probably all the stuff that I sent them, copies of it, so they're going to see those phone logs. Are they going to answer? I don't know. If they said they can't make them answer, they can't. But I don't. If that's the case, they wouldn't answer. They were going to tell me to get an attorney, but I already have one, so I don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to see what they're going to do. Well, it may force them to make a settlement, because then they could tell the Attorney General here that he's got litigation and we made a settlement. So that would, you know, stop it for them. I don't know if they'll do it. I just think that might put some fire under them, you know, knowing that that's how upset I am that I even went to the Attorney General here in Pennsylvania. You can do it in your state. I started to do it in their state, Utah, and let the Attorney General there, but I figured, he'll probably take their side. You know, he might not even do nothing. So I thought it was more effective to do it this way like I did it. So that's pending also. They got 21 days. If I hear anything from that, I'll also, you know, make a video and I'll let you know about it. Yeah, so, you know, all this is showing you what can be done. Because if I'm doing it, you can do it too, you know. So again, I'm going over a lot of things now. I'm just going to try to touch on a few more things, because what I don't say in one video, I'll say in another. Okay, so now when you know, the calls stop. This is the whole thing about these harassing phone calls. When they stop, you still owe the bill, whatever you owe them. See, the late fees is making you owe them more, because as they're calling you, they keep adding late fees. This went from $1,200, less than $1,200, to about $1,500 now. Those late fees, it's $39. It was $38. So they put it on there, and they don't even send out any paperwork or nothing about it. It's on the statement, and they just keep adding it every month now. See, that late fee, say the bill was due on the 15th, and I pay it on the 16th. They charge you the late fee. The closing date might be the 22nd. Even though you got the payment in and the late fees on the same bill, you still paid the late fee. They want it by the due date, the payment. I know before, years ago, I knew if the closing date was the 22nd and I got the payment in before the 22nd, no late fee. If I'd have got the 23rd, there'd be a late fee. So there are all the things that, you know, these add-on charges again. So again, back to this owing the bill. Now, so if you're not paying them, you know, the statute of limitations, I know it's 4 years here in Pennsylvania. I say it so much. In all different states, it's different. So now those bills I didn't pay back in, you know, back in when I started to, you know, I first got the lawyer, all those bills in my name. So less than 4 years from now, they'll all be legally forgiven. But again, your credit report, everything stays on for 7 years. Some things might stay on longer. I think bankruptcy might be 10 years. That's why I say try to avoid doing bankruptcy if you can. Because first it's going to be on there, and that's a bad mark. I've had it. We both went bankrupt 20 years ago. So it's something that I know it's best to try to work it out. Okay, first of all, when you owe money to these accounts, if you think you could work it out with them, you could try that. If you think maybe you need a couple months, you know, you could tell them, look, If you take off the late fee, I could start paying again. More than likely, you can work it out that way. But if you know you're stuck and you really can't pay, then why are they making these calls? What do they want you to do? Go to a friend, a neighbor, or somebody, or a family member and borrow $500 to pay them just to stop the calls? So you don't have to go through that. Like I say, you got the lawyer, that doesn't charge and all. Okay, I'll give you his name again. It's Paul Mankin, Mankin. Toll-free number, 800-219-3577. 800-219-3577. Okay, back to the statute of limitations. So, it'll be legally forgiven once it runs out. So, be careful, because all these debts go to debt collectors. Merrick Bank and all these banks, they sell these bundles to these debt collectors. So for pennies on the dollar, so they're going to try to collect it. Because Maria is deceased, her bill is uncollectible. Not to a debt collector. If they get that bill, any bills that are past the statute of limitations, written off, all those debts they try to collect. They're zombie debts. Because they're breathing life back into it. And these scavenger debt collectors, they don't care. So keep all this in mind. I'm trying to give you good information, So that if any of this stuff comes up, you'll have a good idea. But as long as you have an attorney, you don't really have to worry, because he's giving you this consultation, what you should do based on your case, And with all this now that I've been saying, I hope it helps somebody out there. That's all I'm trying to do. And I go over it. And like I said, any questions, you can reach me. I'll have my information in the description. There'll be stuff in the description. I always put stuff in the description, depends. I'm going over so many things here that, I might think of something else that I might want to put in the description. But it's going to have the attorney's name, address, and everything, for you, his email and all. So if you want to contact him, you could email him and type everything, explain it to him. You could do it that way. Whatever you want to do, but I still say, if you're having any problems, if I can just reach one person that either has Merrick Bank or any bank that's having problems with these calls, I know there has to be. Well, then it's worth me doing this, So again, I appreciate your time, and have a great day.